What's up, folks? I'm Wavy, and we're here for episode 7. This one's called Driftmark, and pretty much every notable character in the show is gathered in one place for the first time since the royal wedding. You already know what that means. Somebody's about to do something that they can't take back. A funeral scene to open this up. Laena's body is getting committed to the sea. That's the Valyrian way. Fire for Targaryens, water for them. And Daemon Valerion, Corlys's brother, is up here running the ceremony, and this guy cannot help himself. Man is at his own niece's funeral, throwing shots about how Daemon's daughters are more Valyrian than Rhaenyra's kids will ever be. At the funeral. Buddy, show some respect for a second. And speaking of disrespect, Daemon literally chuckles during the ceremony. Just a little laugh. I don't know what his problem is. I really don't. Meanwhile, Aegon's over here looking bored to death, already scanning for women in the crowd. 2 months later, and I already told y'all, he's gonna be a problem. After the ceremony, everybody spreads out around Driftmark, kind of feeling the weight of it. Rhaenyra pulls Jace aside, tells him to go check on his cousins Baela and Rhaena, since they just lost their mom. Jace, who's honestly one of the few decent kids in the show, does exactly that. He goes over and the three have a quiet moment together, a real one. Corlys takes Luke off to the side and gives him a whole speech about how one day Driftmark is going to be his. The castle, the island, all of it. And little Luke is not here for it. Says he doesn't want it. And then says something that genuinely caught me off guard for a second. He's only 10. Tells Corlys that if he's Lord, that means everybody else is dead. Bro's processing mortality at the age of 10. Heavy stuff. Rhaenys is doing her own thing too, comforting Baela and Rhaena, but you can tell that she's barely holding it all together. This is her daughter that just died. She's playing tough, but we know she's hurting. Now, here's where things get a little interesting. Viserys and Daemon pull up in a corner together and they have a real conversation, like a human conversation. Vis tells him that Daemon's looking at his daughters hurt because they're the spitting image of Laena, both comforting and a wound at the same time. And Daemon, who's been a menace for 7 episodes straight, just stands there and listens, doesn't have a smart comment ready, doesn't deflect, he just takes it in. That's two brothers sharing something honest at a funeral. And low-key, it's one of my favorite moments of the whole season. Across the way, Corlys and Rhaenys have their own talk. Rhaenys is in full denial mode, saying that the Maesters could have done something more. Corlys is trying to be the steady one, but the conversation turns to the future, and you can feel the room get cold because Corlys knows, Rhaenys knows, those kids of Rhaenyra are not Laenor's. Everybody with eyes knows it, and the future of House Velaryon and the line of succession on Driftmark is built on complete fabrication. But Corlys is still gonna make Luke heir because there's nothing else that he can do at this point. Rhaenys doesn't love it, but she's not gonna go against her husband on this one. Meanwhile, Aegon's somewhere bothering his low bro, complaining about how he's engaged to his own sister Helena. And listen, this is one thing I can give Aemond credit for. He's disgusted, and rightfully so. Gets absolutely hammered immediately. This guy is gonna be the worst king of Westeros, and you can kind of already see it forming. Night falls, and Rhaenyra and Daemon find each other on the beach scene. The infamous beach scene. Now, I gotta warn y'all, this scene is dark. Like literally dark. You gotta crank the brightness all the way up. They really shot this whole conversation in like 3 candles worth of light. But what's happening here is huge. Rhaenyra is finally telling Daemon how she felt when he disappeared on her, how abandoned she was, how as a kid she felt manipulated by him, and Daemon for once is being vulnerable too. These two are clearing the air after years of unresolved tension. And then, you already know, they end up sleeping together right there on the beach. Like, bro, y'all here fucking at your wife's funeral. Y'all couldn't even wait till y'all got back to Dragonstone. These two are something else. Now, while all that's happening on the beach, somewhere else entirely, Aemond is by himself in the dark. And this kid decided tonight is the night. Remember, he's been obsessing about getting his own dragon since the pink dread situation. Remember what Helena said an episode ago? He'll have to close an eye? Pay attention. Aemond walks right up to Vhagar, the biggest dragon in the realm, unclaimed since Laena just died, and he tries to mount it. Vhagar almost flames him on the spot, snarling, snapping, the whole production, but Aemond starts speaking High Valyrian to her, calmly, like he's been practicing this his whole life, and Vhagar goes still. lets him on, takes him off into the sky. This kid is 11 years old and he just claimed the largest dragon in the world. And when he comes back down, he's a completely different person entirely. Whatever shy, nervous energy he had before, gone. Walks back to Driftmark like he owns the place. My boy found himself up in them clouds. But guess who happens to see Vhagar take off from the window? Baela and Rhaena. And these two are hot. That dragon was supposed to be theirs eventually. Specifically Rhaena, since her mom just died and she still doesn't have a dragon of her own. They confront Aemond and Jace and Luke roll with them. 5 kids about to throw down on a beach. And Aemond, riding high off the most powerful moment of his life, has not an ounce of grace left in him. Looks Rhaena in the face and tells her straight, "Your mom's dead and Vhagar belongs to me." Same day, couple hours after the funeral. So yeah, it's officially go time. What follows is one of the most chaotic kid fights we've seen on TV. Baela and Rhaena are throwing serious hands. These two are not to be played with. Aemond is bigger and stronger, so he's handling all of them, but not exactly walking away clean either. Then he crosses the line, calls Jace and Luke bastards right to their face, and the whole vibe shifts. Aemond picks up a rock, reminiscent of Daemon picking up that rock, and is about to cave Jace's skull in, like for real for real. Jace pulls out a dagger to defend himself. They scrap, the dagger gets knocked loose, and Luke, little Luke, who didn't even want to be a lord 20 minutes ago, puts up the blade and slashes Aemond across the face, takes his whole eye, cleanly gone. The kids scream and everyone freezes. Now pause real quick. Helena, 1 episode ago, said casually as hell, "He'll have to close an eye," and then went right back to her bugs. The girl is a prophet. Shout out to Helena, one of my favorites, I'm telling y'all. Back to the chaos, everybody gets dragged inside the Hall of the Nine, and now we see one of the most uncomfortable family meetings in history. King Viserys is yelling at his king's guard for letting the kids stab each other. The maesters are working on Aemond's face, and Alicent is unraveling in real time. She wants blood, wants justice, specifically wants one of Rhaenyra's kids to lose an eye to even the score. An eye for an eye. Viserys, doing the classic Viserys thing, tries to calm everybody down, make peace, and sweep it under the rug. Alicent is not having it for once. Then Rhaenyra steps in and plays the smartest move of her life. She points out that Aemond was the one calling her sons bastards. And the second she says that, the room gets quiet, because now everybody has to either deny what they already know is true or accept the implication that her kids aren't legitimate. She just dared the whole room, and nobody picks it up because Viserys is right there. Alicent loses it. Genuinely, completely loses it. Grabs the Valyrian dagger straight off the king's belt and goes at Rhaenyra, like really tries to kill her. And while she's swinging, she's screaming about how she spent her whole life doing what's expected of her, following the rules, upholding duty, while Rhaenyra has done whatever she's pleased and gotten away with it every single time. She slashes Rhaenyra's arm, pulls back at the last second, and Rhaenyra, even bleeding, is calculating, barely defends herself the whole time, because she knows every witness in that room just watched the queen lose her composure completely. That math works in her favor every single time. She actually smiles for a split second. This is a chess move of the century. Daemon in the mix. Cole steps up, gets broken up before it goes any further. Viserys looks like he aged a decade right in front of us. Otto pulls Alicent aside later, and here's the kicker. She's expecting him to be furious. Instead, he tells her that he's proud of her. She's gonna need that fight in her for what's coming, and then drops the cold truth on her. Yeah, Aemond may have lost an eye, but House Hightower just gained Vhagar, the biggest dragon alive. And an eye for a dragon is a trait of a century. I'm telling you, Bozo Hightower stays scheming. You can't sleep on him. Now here's where some bullshit happens. Rhaenyra goes to Laenor. They have a real conversation. She tells him straight. She wants to marry Daemon, for real this time. But Laenor's not dead, so that's a problem. The solution? Made people think Laenor's dead. So Daemon, being Daemon, goes off to find Laenor's guy. Makes him a deal, they stage the whole thing. Daemon kills some random, unfortunate dude, burns him to a crisp so nobody can ID him, stages it like the lover killed Laenor in the heat of an argument and ran. Whole castle thinks Laenor's gone, but here's the thing, Laenor is not dead. Him and his man get a rowboat and they row off to Pentos, off to live their lives. And honestly, we'll let Laenor have that. This guy never wanted any of this, never wanted to be lord, never wanted to be a husband to a princess, he just wanted to vibe with his mans. He gets the peaceful ending he kinda deserves. Closing scene, Rhaenyra and Daemon on Dragonstone, getting married right there, with their kids watching, no giant ceremony, no politics, no court, just them. They cut each other's hands to mix the blood, the old Valyrian way. And the first time in 7 episodes, Rhaenyra looks like she got something she actually wanted, just for herself. Aight, that's episode 7. Aemond got his dragon and lost his eye. Alicent finally let everything out in front of every important person in the realm. Laenor escaped with his entire life to live. Daemon and Rhaenyra finally married. The kids are at war with each other. Grown-ups are at war with each other. And there's no going back from this one. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. It only gets crazier from here.